Pretty Little Liars. Did the books or TV series do it better? Let's break it down and decide which version truly outshines. To kick things off, we will look at the differences in the main characters of the series, our liars. In the books, Spencer Hastings is blonde haired and blue eyed, but she has brown hair and brown eyes in the show, where she is played by Troianne Bellisario. This is interesting because in the books, it is mentioned that Spencer is similar in appearance to Allison De Laurentiis, whereas in the series, Hannah is the one who looks like Allison. Another one of our liars is Aria Montgomery, played by Lucy Hale in the series. In the TV show, Aria is the shortest of the liars and is brunette with hazel eyes, while the book describes her as being tall with blue-black hair and ice blue eyes. In the books, she's also described as being quirky, but in the show, she comes across as very much a cool girl. Now, let's look at Emily Fields, portrayed by Shay Mitchell. In the books, Emily has strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes, but in the show, she has dark hair and brown eyes. The series changes Emily's ethnic background, making her Filipino and Korean, which wasn't mentioned at all in the books. The series also portrays Emily as a lesbian, whereas in the books, she is bisexual. Our third liar is Hannah Marin, played by Ashley Benson. In the TV series, Hannah has blonde hair and blue eyes, while in the book she has dark-dyed auburn hair and brown eyes. In the series, Hannah's personality remains the same both post and pre-weight loss, with her only gaining more confidence. Whereas in the books, she is very mean after losing weight. The books also mention that she is bulimic, whereas the show only suggests it. The final character I want to talk about is Mona Vanderwall, played by Jenna Parrish. In the books, she has white blonde hair and blue eyes, but in the series, she has dark brown hair and hazel eyes. The series changes up her ethnic background, making her Chinese, which wasn't really mentioned in the books at all. Now, let's talk about the biggest story changes between the books and the TV adaptation. First off, in the books, the liars weren't actually friends, and it takes much longer for them to bond than in the show, where they are already part of Allison's tight-knit friend group, and they reconnect after receiving these mysterious text messages from A. And the way that they got their nickname, the Pretty Little Liars, differs as well. In the books, Spencer, Hannah, Aria, and Emily are dubbed the Pretty Little Liars because of their numerous claims that they have encountered Allison after her death, and no one would believe them. In the series, however, they get their names because they were friends with Allison and because they said that they saw Ian Thomas's body. So from that point on, some people would refer to them as the liars. Another plot difference is that the series adds new characters that are not in the books. Caleb Rivers, played by Tyler Blackburn, was added to the show to give Hannah a love interest and to give the girls a tech-savvy guy that they could go to with their text messaging stalker A. Several more important characters from the show that don't exist in the books includes Paige, Cece, Shayna, and Bethany. But the reverse is true as well. Multiple important characters from the books simply don't exist in the show, including Catherine, Kelsey, Amelia, Iris, and Tabitha. The series adaptation also gives Ezra a much bigger role, adding more scenes with Aria, making their relationship more complex and more wrong since she is his underage student. While that plotline does exist in the books, it is short-lived because A exposes their secret relationship, forcing Ezra to leave town. But in the series, they are one of the main couples, and they even get married in the series finale. Aria's biggest romance in the books is Noel Kahn instead. The two briefly date in season 1 of the series, but it's nothing like their relationship in the books. She also briefly marries an old boyfriend of hers from Iceland in the books, but that relationship is later proven to be not real. This does not happen at all in the series, although her family does visit Iceland before the start of the series. The series also goes more in depth into Toby's storyline and his character development. In the books, Toby is revealed to have sexually abused his stepsister Jenna, and he later kills himself. Whereas in the show, it's reversed. It's Jenna who abused Toby. He eventually becomes Spencer's main love interest, and their romance was written into the scripts because of the chemistry between the actors, Keegan Allen, who plays Toby, and Troyanne. A major plot point in this show is that Spencer has a breakdown after finding out that Toby is A, or at least working with A to protect Spencer, and mistakenly believes that he is dead. She ends up in the psychiatric hospital, while in the books, it's Hannah who is the one who spends time there. And we can't forget about our original A, Mona. Her motivations are different in the books and the series. In the book, Mona becomes A because she saw the liars blind Jenna, and she couldn't bear the injustice that they wouldn't be punished. In the show, Mona becomes A because the liars took Hannah, her best friend, away from her. This also becomes a major difference because in the books, Mona fakes her friendship with Hannah, and in the show, they seem to have a real friendship. Now, let's talk about what the show gets right and where it kind of misses the mark. One of the biggest strengths of The Pretty Little Liars is its cast. The show introduces us to 4 main characters, Aria, Spencer, Hannah, and Emily, each with a distinctive personality and background that resonated with viewers. Troyanne as Spencer brought a depth to the role of this overachiever who constantly struggles with perfectionism. Lucy's Aria portrayed this artistic yet troubled teen, grappling with her own identity and her secret relationship with her teacher. Ashley's Hannah was initially the it girl with a past, whose character evolved significantly, making her one of the more complex figures in the show. And then there's Shay, whose portrayal of Emily, a character discovering her sexuality, was both heartfelt and pivotal for LGBTQ+ representation in mainstream television. The chemistry between the main girls and the supporting cast elevated the series. The complex relationships, and especially the friendships among the girls, were often at the heart of what kept viewers engaged from season to season for 7 seasons. Another key strength was the show's central mystery, who is A? The constant tension and the series of mysterious messages, threats, and even murder mysteries kept fans hooked. The show succeeded in keeping audiences on the edge of their seat, always leaving viewers with cliffhangers that ensured that they would return for the next episode. The first few seasons in particular, with the Who is a Mystery, were incredibly well done, with shocking reveals and twists that kept everyone guessing. For example, the reveal of Mona as A in season 2 was a real game changer, and even though it set up a bigger mystery, it showed the show's commitment to maintaining this sense of suspense. These twists were not just for shock value, but they were there to tie the characters' motivations together, which gave the series so much depth. However, as much as The Pretty Little Liars had its strengths, the show also faced some significant weaknesses, many of which became more apparent as the series went on. One of the major weaknesses for Pretty Little Liars was the show's over-reliance on red herrings and plot twists, particularly in the later seasons, which sometimes felt like cheap tactics to keep viewers guessing without actually delivering on satisfying conclusions. For example, throughout the show, almost every character at some point was suspected of being A. From Toby to Allison's family members, these constant false leads became frustrating for fans, and it made the mystery feel more like a gimmick instead of a well-thought-out narrative. It became clear that the show was often improvising plot developments to keep the story going, which sometimes took away from the emotional investment of the mystery. Another one of the show's weaknesses is its pacing, particularly in the latter seasons, and particularly in the middle of the series. The show was caught in the trap of needing to fill a traditional 22-episode season, and sometimes that meant dragging out storylines unnecessarily. There were multiple filler episodes throughout the seasons, and these episodes often had very little to do with advancing the overall plot. These sometimes felt like distractions, as if the writers were trying to pad out the season to fit the expected episode count, rather than focusing on the core mystery or the character development that we cared so much about. The show would often rely upon superficial plot developments like new characters or quick gags, rather than tackling these deeper issues that made the show initially so compelling. All right, so which one wins, the book or the TV series? For me, I think the book wins. It expands on the story, deepens its characters, and adds a lot more emotional depth. But what do you think? Were you a fan of the series, or do you think that it didn't do the books justice? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and I'll see you next time here on Collider.